Clayton Davis is Chief Awards Editor at Variety, and you join us now live from Hollywood in LA. Thank you for being with us, Clayton. So how realistic is it to have a Hollywood movie industry in the US in a world where films are now being shot in other countries because it's perhaps cheaper or practically better for that film?
Yeah, thank you for having me. And I know this announcement came pretty random out of nowhere, kind of the way the White House has been operating, but no details on how or when this would be implemented. But it sparked immediate confusion around. There were several questions that were brought up a lot by one of my colleagues here, Gene Mattis, who did a great write-up here at Variety. One, can he even do that? Not without tariffs. Like, this usually require legal justification. There's coordination with trade reps, and typically you need congressional approval for something like this. But also, it's how would it work? And that's probably the big question here. Are we talking about taxing movies at the box office? Are we talking about taxing movies, on streaming platforms, at distribution, when the actual handoff happens from a production company to a studio? And then what about TV and streaming? He didn't mention that. He said movies specifically, but today's media landscape, those aren't, separate from film. And of course, the White House is already kind of walking back and said no final decisions have been made, and everyone's kind of in this wait and see moment as we see what this could possibly mean.
OK, Clayton, with you and your industry colleagues then, where do you think Donald Trump's motivation is for this? Because, of course, he's had some big Hollywood critics in the past, hasn't he? For example, George Clooney, Meryl Streep. Do you think that he is doing this to help Hollywood, or is this, in a way, an attempt to sort of get back at some of these people?
A little bit of it is, it's neither, because in one sense, it's like, okay, who wants this? Not Hollywood. There's no major studio, streamer, or union that's been asking for tariffs. I don't think that's ever been used in our daily vocabulary here. U.S. film depends on foreign markets and partnerships. That's how we exist here. A move like this would invite retaliation and reduce the access to overseas box office. China has already talked about limiting movies that play in China. That's how movies like Avatar end up grossing over $2 billion because of China's markets. But then you ask the question, what does Hollywood want? Well, subsidies. We're looking for tax incentives. Right now, California, New York, and Georgia have state subsidies, but nothing on the federal level. That's what we've been asking for. There was quiet hope that Trump might support that at some point, but this tariff seems to just miss the mark and the moment entirely. And now people are like, will this industry is already going through a ripple effect. We had COVID, we had the fires, we've had strikes. And this doesn't help the industry continue to thrive. This is just him, I think, sticking his nose into something that, quite frankly, he doesn't know that much about.
OK, Clayton, we really appreciate your views and your industry expertise. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.